In the halls of power, industry and government, not everyone gets to penetrate the inner workings of high-powered negotiations. But Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley offered a glimpse into the 5 years of consistent, dogged negotiations that led to the restructuring of one of this country's major assets, the Atlantic Liquefied Natural Gas plant in Point Fortin. Dr. Rowley noted that although the concept for the plant originated with the state, there was a lack of confidence and financing for what was, at the time, seen as a risky endeavor.
Come Train 4, we got 11% in Train 4. So you had this strange structure of a business with a government shareholding of 10% in Train 1, 11% in Train 4, and nothing in Trains 2 and 3.
The Prime Minister indicated that the majority shareholders, BP and Shell, were happy with the ownership structure.
As the volume of gas began to become reduced, both in practice and in vision, we knew that we were vulnerable. Because those who had shareholding in Trains 2 and Trains 3 at 100% had an interest in a reduced gas production environment to have Train 1 out of the picture.
The main producer of gas in Trinidad and Tobago is BP.
We had to keep our place on the table, and the ownership in Train 1 kept us on the table. But what do we do on the table? Just acknowledge that they are owners of Trains 2, 3, and Trains 4, we only have 10%, or we set about to change the entire picture, restructure the industry, and get ourselves involved in Trains 2 and 3 and Train 4.
The Prime Minister said negotiations had to be undertaken with each shareholder on an individual basis.
And there was significant resistance. Some people said, oh, the contract doesn't make provision for that. And others said, I'm listening. And then eventually, after a few of these meetings in The Hague, in London, in Amsterdam, in Houston, one party said, I hear you. And the second party eventually said, I hear you. And I knew we were making progress.
Shell held 54%, while BP had a 40% stake in Atlantic LNG's Trains 2, 3, and 4.
And at that stage, we set about to establish what we call empowerment teams. A government team of experts and a business team of experts to talk about this conversation. And I knew that there were possibilities for success.
And today, the ownership structure across all 4 trains is BP and Shell have a 45% stake in each train, as the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago holds the remaining 10%. I am Terry Ann Brown Campbell, and this is Evolving Energy.